San Francisco, a city in the state of California, has something that everyone is shocked to hear. Do you know that an old lady at the age of 105 is still playing the piano as usual and does not have the cardiovascular disease that her peers often encounter after listening to The Secret? The Young Youth Association would like to bow her head and admit defeat. Or who would have thought that a city that was luxurious in the United States would be full of homelessness, addiction, and horror, to the point that people had to race to move and sue? And have you ever seen a beard that makes a bowl of noodles or a storage rack? How long and dense it must be. There are countless other strange and extremely special things waiting for you. Let's find out in the video 6 strange things only in San Francisco. Homelessness, theft, addiction in San Francisco. San Francisco, a city of luxury in the United States, is a diverse mix of architecture, and landmarks include the Golden Gate Bridge, the cable car, Alcatraz Jail, Fisherman's Wharf, and Chinatown. It is also home to the headquarters of companies such as Wells Fargo and Twitter. Yet it is now overflowing with homelessness, accounting for nearly 1/3 of all homeless people in the United States, second only to Los Angeles. They are all natives of California, which is more frightening than there are many drug addicts. They live on the streets of Tenderloin, setting up tents on the sidewalks and throwing garbage around, then defecating in public and stealing things. Many residents here have to move to other places because, according to them, it is difficult to live in a place full of people like ghosts. There are also residents and businesses in Tenderloin who have filed a lawsuit against the city with dozens of photos. Addicts in Tenderloin openly inject and smoke drugs in front of children, wander the neighborhood while intoxicated, or while addicted, litter used drug paraphernalia and human waste on the sidewalk, and then commit crimes to pay for their drug habits. Businesses have a rapid decrease in revenue when customers are afraid to enter. In addition, a real-life resident, Barbara Rowe, shared, her neighbor was attacked at the entrance to their building and had to go to the emergency room to have her wounds stitched. There were bonfires on the sidewalks. Occasionally, the smoke triggered the building's fire alarm, forcing her and her neighbors to evacuate into that terrifying crowd. So why are there so many addicts here? The answer is opioids, a group of addictive painkillers that create a comfortable feeling for users. Based on the effectiveness of pain relief, opioids are classified into weak opioids and potent opioids, with ingredients such as morphine, fentanyl, etc. Fentanyl is one of the most potent and highly addictive opioids, 50 times more potent than heroin and 100 times more potent than morphine. And you know, most countries, if you want to buy medicine, you have to have a doctor's prescription, and San Francisco is the same. If you want to buy medicine, you have to have a doctor's prescription, only have a headache or a slight injury. If you go to the doctor, there is a high chance that you will be prescribed painkillers that contain opioids that are very addictive.
На него подсели.
Из-за бейсбола.
Да.
Несколько лет назад я повредил колено на работе. Мне прописали обезболивающие таблетки, и я начал их принимать. А когда перестал, мне стало очень плохо.
Drug addiction, with the typical manifestation of drug withdrawal syndrome, when the concentration of opioids in the blood drops, causing a lot of physical, neurological, and mental disorders, of which maggots crawling in bones is the most terrible symptom for addicts. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention statistics that in the past 2 decades, nearly 400,000 people have died from prescription or over-the-counter painkillers. One statistic shows that 91 people die every day from addictive painkillers in the United States, while the other 2 statistics are 115 and 130, and according to Reuters, it is 142. It must be said that the business of the pharmaceutical house in the U.S. is too terrible. Opioid painkillers were supposed to be used only for acute or short-term pain, but for decades, doctors prescribed them for months or years to treat chronic pain, leading to rampant use, overdose, and addiction, actually drug addiction. In order to increase sales of fentanyl pain relievers in spray form, brand name drug Subsys, from 2012 to 2015, INSYS paid doctors or heads of clinics to prescribe large quantities of this drug. While Subsys is only prescribed for cancer pain, the most famous is INSYS, spending $260,000 on 2 doctors in New York. And in 2014, they prescribed Subsys up to $6 million. The company also recruited employees of a strip club, even though she does not have a pharmacy degree, with the task of paying commissions to doctors who prescribe painkillers. In addition to wandering addicts, the number of homeless people is also overflowing because this is the city with the second highest cost of living in the United States. Buying a house falls at $1.4 million. Assuming renting a house in the center also costs up to $3,000 a month, while the cost of food can be up to $450 a month. But there are people who are both homeless and addicted, and the homeless people on this side also bring pets like dogs. So dogs that are not spider people are also no way home. Most of the unemployed will be provided with $700 by the state, and there are also many shelters for the homeless that can be registered to live in Shelter House. But if they go there, they will not be allowed to use drugs. So many people still choose to go to the streets. On weekends, there will be charity groups that distribute food. Charity groups are poured money into by the state. They distribute phones to communicate, and especially needles to use drugs more cleanly.
What?
Another thing is that people in San Francisco don't usually lock their cars and don't leave their valuables in their cars, because if they don't, the chances of your car being smashed will be very high. You see, a man who was wearing a hoodie with a hood over his head smashed the side glass of a Toyota Sienna and reached out to pick up a backpack in the second row and threw it into the black Audi with the door open right next to him. The two quickly approached a Ford Explorer parked a car away. Again, the thief smashed the left rear glass and took another bag. On average, there will be 2,000 cars smashed here in 1 month. That is, more than 60 cars will be smashed in a day. In fact, there are many articles and many people talking about this issue.
San Francisco's the worst. San Francisco is like a failed state. San Francisco might as well be Libya. That place is wild.
Yeah.
People are just shitting in the streets.
The crime is next level in San Francisco. It is stupid.
Next level.
It is stupid.
People are parking their cars and leaving their windows rolled down and their hatches open.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to get smashed.
It doesn't matter what time of day. It doesn't matter who's around.
Doesn't matter who's around. No one's stopping anybody from doing anything. It's crazy.
Some people even took the initiative to open the trunk of the car to prove that there was nothing inside the car to steal. That's stealing things in the car. And if you go to the supermarket, you will see toothpaste costing from $7 also has to be put in the closet and locked. If you want to buy it, you have to call the supermarket person to open the locker. Branded stores are also locked. When you go to the door, they will open for you. The reason is that since 2014, the state of California has enacted a new law on theft. California Proposition 47 makes theft of $950 or less a misdemeanor, not liable before the law. Do you know why? Because California state prisons are overcrowded, such a law is now being enacted to reduce the burden on prisons. This also creates a high demand for illegal goods. There will be supply and demand. Seriously, thieves are also ordered exactly what needs to be stolen, then smuggled the goods to the districts of the city. That is, become a form of organized crime. Police? Yes. But it's just like not.
Do you feel safe working here?
No, because when they come to steal, we have fighting with them.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And do you think the local government helps at all? Like, do you see any government action to try to help your business?
No.
No?
Even I call the police, they don't want to come. We just call every day, but no one to come.
Yeah.
And then on that day, no business.
In San Francisco, there is a completely different neighborhood than the one above. Billionaire Street in San Francisco. Pacific Heights is located on top of a series of steep hills north of San Francisco, USA, and is the most scenic place here, so the super rich compete to settle here. If the super rich like this place, of course it must be clean, beautiful, and secure, completely different from the area above. With a unique design, no house is the same. The average house price here is $12 million USD unit. William P. Getty, the grandson of oil tycoon J. Paul Getty, and his wife, Vanessa, sold an 806 square foot mansion for $15.9 million in May 2014. After several price cuts, the villa was finally sold for $12.5 million in July 2015. In May 2015, chef Roxanne Klein and businessman Michael Klein also sold a mansion of more than 1,186 square meters for $31 million. This is the villa for sale at the highest price in San Francisco for 7 consecutive months. Let me ask you how old your grandparents or grandparents are this year. Let me send my best wishes to the grandparents and the elderly. Let's listen to the secret of living a long life of a 117-year-old grandmother. Secret of the old lady who lived the longest life in the world. Maria was born in San Francisco, California in 1907, and as of August 2024, she has just died, having lived 117 years and 168 days. In January 2023, Maria officially became the world's longest-lived person and the 12th longest living person recorded in human history. Her family wrote in the obituary, "She passed away peacefully in her sleep as she wished, without suffering any pain." Even in the last years of her life, Maria remained very sober. She clearly remembers what happened when she was 4 years old and did not have the cardiovascular disease common in older adults. Until she was 105 years old, she could still play the piano, read the newspaper, and exercise every morning. The only health problems are slow movement and poor hearing. This puzzled doctors and researchers, so they did their research and found that the cells in Maria's body were aging much slower than their real age. When she went to ask for the secret, she learned that Maria ate natural yogurt every day. In addition, what is difficult for young people now to learn is that the long-lived person has maintained a scientific eating and sleeping time. Next is to keep a good relationship with family, friends, and pets, and go out more often to be in harmony with nature. The last thing is to control your mood well and stay away from negative people. Honestly, among these, have you made any of them? Please comment on one number below. Maybe I will live so long in the future. And after Maria's death, the next longest living person in the world is Tomiko Ituka from Japan, who is 116 years old this year. Who will be the next successor to the list? It's true that I admire you guys. I don't make up for the insomnia in my early 30s. Herniated discs with pain in the neck, shoulders, and neck. Next is the content that many Vietnamese settlers in the U.S. enjoy the most. U.S. city recognizes Vietnamese as an official language. You may have heard of Cali, yes, California, the state with the largest number of Vietnamese in the United States, with about 647,000 people. The reason comes from the Vietnam War. California was the first place to receive many Vietnamese after the evacuation in 1975, when more than 100,000 Vietnamese sought refuge in refugee camps, including San Francisco, the 4th most populous city in this state with nearly 900,000 people, and in June 2024, Vietnamese will be added to the list of official languages, along with Chinese, Spanish, and Filipino, because according to statistics, there are more than 6,700 people who mainly speak Vietnamese. Exceeded 6,000 people qualified to be an official language.
Ủa cái này là bánh tét hay là bánh tét đậu? À bánh tét đậu chứ không phải là chả lụa à? Không.
In addition, Vietnamese is also widely spoken in many cities in the United States, such as Orange County, California, Houston, Texas, or Washington. According to that momentum, the city will have to provide telephone interpretation, Vietnamese translation of documents, Vietnamese announcements on websites, as well as interpretation in public services. There is even a Vietnamese shopping district called Little Saigon, which is like a miniature Saigon, with more than 180,000 people living and doing business, 255 Vietnamese-owned businesses, and most of the shops serving all the dishes of northern Vietnam, especially PHO. There are also many shops, restaurants, markets, temples, pagodas, and social organizations of the Vietnamese people. So, Vietnamese people do not need to be like her. I speak Vietnamese because I speak English, for fear that Americans won't understand. If it is the woman who lives the longest, then there is the beard that lives the longest, turning the beard into a bowl of shrimp noodles, only he can do it. the man who owns the world's most unique beard collection. Isaiah Webb, who lives in San Francisco, immediately became famous overnight when he posted a photo of turning his beard into a bowl to eat shrimp noodles. As is customary, every Monday, he posts a photo of his beard in different tiger styles to report the weasel. The beards are designed by him and his wife, and it is his wife who inspires him. Webb confessed, "Growing a beard is a tradition in my family. My grandfather, Jay Gould, used to be a train tycoon with an impressive beard. Maybe one day I'll make billions of dollars as a beard tycoon." He also said, "The greatest and proudest thing a man can do is to grow a beard, so he should grow a beard at least once in his life." In order to have the beard he has now, Webb hasn't shaved his beard for 15 years and started growing beards for years to come. With his own style, he has become a character in Ripley's book, Believe It or Not, and the book Reality Shock. Gaining momentum, the man also works as a representative of a hair care business, launching a special self-invented comb on the market, exclusively for those who own long beards. What about you? Do you want to grow a beard or shave? Please share it with our women. Admire a series of top-notch buildings in San Francisco. First of all, the Golden Gate Bridge, the world's largest suspension bridge, is an internationally recognized symbol in San Francisco and California. It connects San Francisco to Martin Country in the north and was completed in 1937, taking 7 years of youth to complete. The second is Transamerica, another symbol of the city besides the Golden Gate. With a pyramid-like architecture, it is 260 meters tall and is still the tallest skyscraper in San Francisco. It has provided more air and light to the roads below. Next is Lombard Street, which is famous as the most steep street in the world. This place is built in a wavy style in order to reduce the speed of vehicles, so the racing boys can only turn the throttle at 8 km/h. I would like to give way to a driver's license with strength and a cold head, but with such a tough corner, I succumbed. If you dare to try, please comment, what are you afraid of below? The next slot would give way to the Golden Gate Park, which is rectangular in shape, 4.1 kilometers square wide. Inside are windmills, wildlife, and museums. Then there is the Japanese Tea Garden Park, with fish ponds, structured in a traditional Japanese style in the heart of the United States. Equally prominent is the Recreational Women's Memorial in San Francisco. You can see these 3 girls cast in bronze, standing in a circle on the top of the pedestal and holding hands in a position with their backs to each other. Standing next to the pedestal and looking up at them is another bronze statue. It was built to commemorate the girls and women who were taken into sexual slavery by the Imperial Japanese Army through deception, coercion, and brutal force. It is estimated that there are about 400,000 recreational women from South Korea, Taiwan, China, Indonesia, the Philippines, and other Asian countries. If you can't afford to travel all the way, the next unique exhibition in San Francisco will feature miniature models of buildings made from recycled materials, where most of the buildings mentioned above are located. The video of the discovery of the city of San Francisco has come to an end. Please share what are the strange truths that are deeply ingrained in your mind, and it must be very special. Thank you for watching Top 10 Mysteries video. For now, hello, and see you on future trips.